Afternoon guys, so we thought we would just interject something a little bit different into our videos this week, and it's going to be a very short van tour. So we have a T6, a VW T6 Hightop, Kombi Hightop, and this is actually our very first camper van that we have ever owned. Whenever we were talking to people who owned a camper van, owned a motorhome, everyone said every motorhome stroke camper van, there's always compromises to have. And we certainly had some of those, but we thought we would just give a little bit of a tour in and around our van, so the good points, some points that we may want to change, and some further thoughts. So I shall hand over to Nicola for the tour.
So we knew we were going to be travelling long term in our van, and because of that we wanted to make it very specific to our own requirements, and I'm somebody who likes my comfort, so I wanted to make sure we had everything that we would need. Also, the van is pretty much packed full, but we'll show you where we've put things and how we've made the best use of the available space. So the first thing I'm going to show you is food storage and the cooking area. So storage wise, in here we have a little fridge. Now this can have a little bit put on here which makes it actually into a freezer, but we've actually removed that so we can use the full space here, and it's amazing what you can fit in. You can actually stack things right up to the top here. Mostly beers at the moment. Food cupboard. In here we pretty much have pasta, rice, bread, biscuits, soup, anything like that, tin food. And then down here things like cake, an absolute necessity, spices, gravy, vinegar and that sort of thing, all your condiments really. And one thing we've found really useful is actually putting things in a basket before you actually put it into the cupboard, because that way you can take things in and out much easier. Same with the fridge, we take all the packaging away and put everything into Ziploc bags. That way it's a lot smaller to put in and also reusable, so it's much more sort of sustainable. This is where we store our pots and pans. A bit of a jumble, but it seems to work okay. Everything you could possibly need here, big saucepan, little saucepan and cooking pot, etc. And I think we've shown you this before. One thing we couldn't do without is our Ridge Monkey. Just perfect for any sort of oven cooking, baking type thing. So this is our cooking area. We've got two rings here, two gas burners here, and we also have the grill, which is fantastic. You can do all sorts of things, grill your chicken, naan breads, make toast. It's just got this like little pull out here which protects the cupboards from the heat, etc. And then of course we've got the sink here. We also have a water heater which can actually be fueled by electric or gas, which is great for, sometimes I sort of want to wash my hair and have warm water, but that is just really good. That gives you that extra bit of flexibility. So this is where we keep all our sort of medical stuff, washing stuff, personal bits and pieces, as because it's a little bit full. So this is all medical and wash stuff. This is mine, this is Nigel's, and this is Guinness's, filled with more medication than you could stock a chemist with. And just to let you know, these little grey boxes, we can fit 4 of those in here. They actually came from IKEA and they're absolutely fantastic. They're a perfect fit. Now for our clothes, we have 2 areas, but the main one is this area at the back. And as you can see, yet again, chock full. Bit of a faux pas here, and to save money, we ended up buying the cheapest packing bags that we could get. So we both got red. And so every morning the whole lot has to come out when we're looking for our clothes. Packing bags you can just get on Amazon. I think they were £13 for a set of 6. You get like 2 large, 2 medium and 2 small. And it's amazing how much you can fit in. We also have this long cupboard here. It's a little bit tricky to get into because we've actually bought a memory foam mattress, which I think cost about, it was £100 and something I think, but it makes a massive difference to the comfort level and well worth getting. But in here, we have got a hanging rail, we've got a few like fleeces and things, and then you've got the long cupboard that goes all the way back, and you can, again, we've got one of these larger grey boxes. We've got like squash and juice and Tupperware boxes and things in that, so that's really useful. We also have a very long pull-out drawer here, which is actually under the bed, goes all the way back. I won't show you in it because again it's chocker full. And then we actually have in here a little portaloo and a TV. But we're actually finding that we're not really using the portaloo, so we might actually get rid of that and use that as a shoe cupboard. Just a bit easier than leaving your shoes laying around. There's also a couple of other little bits that we had as well. This little shelf here, it was a bit of unused space really, but it's amazing because it's perfect for fitting in things like mobile phones, kitchen roll, your mugs fit in, and then something that's been even better has been these stretchy pockets. Really cheap to buy. They're about £3 or £4 each, and you'll be amazed what you can fit in. Obviously we've got tea and coffee, egg cups, etc. Bags. Oh, we've got smoke alarm and carbon monoxide alarm, very important. And in here we have actually got a fire extinguisher as well, which hopefully we'll never need, but just in case. And the last bit on the inside to show you really is the double swivel seat that we went for. It does mean you can't swivel your driver's seat, but we just thought it was much more practical because, well, for start, 2 of you can sit on it if need be. And also we have a certain other somebody here that travels with us. This is Guinness in her bed at the moment. She's actually awake for a change. Guinea, you can say hello. And at night, that's where she sleeps. And then that way we can get the bed out. And the bed, because we've got a long wheelbase, the bed only actually comes to the end of this cupboard here, which means you can still use your grill, you can still get to your fridge, you can still use all these rings. So all we do before we go to bed, we make sure that we don't want anything munchy out of the cupboard before we get the bed out. And then you've got access to everything still, and it's brilliant. Remember I said about making full use of all space? Well, again, this is the boot. We've got a couple of long boxes here. In one of these we've got our wetsuits, and we've got cycling gear and sort of tins of food that we're not using at the moment. And then in the one above we've got all our shoes and things like that, other bits and pieces. And then we have this little cupboard here, in which case you can put your wet coats. We've got a couple of little tiny folding chairs, which are brilliant. We've got those from Decathlon. I think they're about £7.50 each, and they're the low ones, and they're really good because when you sit on them you can put your legs out and they're really comfy. Washing equipment, tools, things like that. And then round here as well, this little port here is our shower point. We have a shower lead we keep in one of these boxes, and you can have a shower between the 2 doors that open up here, as long as it's not windy, otherwise you're likely to be taken out by a door. And it gives quite good protection, and because we've got the hot water as well, it's just like having a normal shower. It's just you need to fill up your water afterwards because it does use quite a bit. We also have access, remember that clothes cupboard? You can also get to it at the back should you need to.
In regards to water, we carry 2 12-litre canisters. They're fixed in the back, and then we also have a collapsible, I want to say 15-litre. And what we find is that here up on the islands, it's actually been relatively easy to find water. It's normally lasting us about a week, and that's just for all of our stuff like washing and things like that, and tea and stuff. And then we have separate drinking water. So that's our water.
We have really good heating. Again, it's gas controlled, and you don't really have to have it on very high at all for it to soon warm up. And it's great because it's thermostatic. So once it reaches a certain temperature, it'll switch off. So if you want to, you can leave it on all night. Although even in the coldest weather, we've found we haven't really needed to do that.
So just breaking in very quickly, you'll notice that it isn't the same day that we have recorded the rest of the van tour. We forgot about a couple of things. So a couple of things that we definitely forgot about. We actually have an awning outside. Now we've only used it a couple of times, but we haven't exactly been in the most sunniest of climates on our trip so far. But that's fantastic. Comes all the way out, attaches to the side of the van, come all the way out. Quite a good place just to shelter under.
And also, if you tie a washing line in between the 2 poles, you can dry your light bits of washing.
I thought you was going to say you can slack line between them, but yeah, dry your smalls. Lots of USB charging points in here as well. We have 210 amp batteries. That's the other thing I forgot to say. And actually, whenever we were talking about the hot water, we actually have an internal water tank as well as the external portable water tanks. We actually have an internal water tank where the hot water is actually filtered in a mixer tap configuration. And then the final thing that we forgot to mention was we talked about gas quite a lot, and we actually have an underslung LPG gas. Nicola, being quite health and safety conscious, really wanted the gas to be outside the van. She lives with me, that doesn't happen. And so we have an underslung LPG, and the one thing that we've noticed, even though it was a little bit more expensive to get it installed, we put £7 worth of LPG gas on the second day of this trip. We're now 3 weeks in. It hasn't even registered on the sort of thing yet. It's still got 5 bars. Obviously when you're using heating, uses a little bit more, but I would say even during the dead of winter we would probably only spend 20 quid per month.
Not even that.
But £15 per month dead of winter, having the gas running for the heating and the cooking. So those are the little things that we just wanted to include in the van tour that we had forgot about yesterday. Right, back to present day, which was yesterday. One addition that we had made after we came back from our winter trip was we actually got solar put on the van. Because we both work on the road, we find that when we were stationary for more than a couple of days, it was really starting to drain our leisure batteries. We have a couple of leisure batteries in the van, and so we had a solar panel put on, and it's been fantastic. Now, of course, we are in the height of summer, and so we are getting lots and lots of daylight in, but even without that, I would say that we could easily be stationary for a couple of days and get several laptop charges with a solar panel replenishing the leisure battery. So certainly that has been a fantastic addition, because one of the things that we wanted to be able to do was not move on, and certainly on this trip that's exactly what we've been able to do. We've had a couple of times where we have literally just parked up somewhere for a couple of days and we haven't noticed a single problem with the batteries. So solar, big thumbs up.
Another really useful thing that we decided on was the table, which is freestanding. Quite a lot of these vans come with a rail along the side of the work surface here, and you hook over one side and you have two legs. But ours actually fits in the door, you lift it out, it's got the 4 legs, so you can either use it in here, or we often take it outside and you can actually put it here, sit on the step, and it's the perfect height to eat your dinner. So you don't even need to get other chairs out if you don't want.
Alright guys, so that's our very quick van tour. In terms of things that we would perhaps like differently, for sure, especially when we're on the road as we are this time for 6 months, making up and putting down the bed every day is a bit of a chore. It's not too bad. It's made a little bit more complicated with the fact that we now have that memory foam, because you have to kind of take everything off and take everything back on again. It's probably the only thing that's a bit frustrating. Some days we do decide to leave the bed down, but of course that does limit slightly the amount of space you have. Not completely, because as Nicola said, even with the bed down,
Sheep firing outside.
even with the bed down, you can sit here and still have full access to the floor space. So having a fixed bed would be great, but of course that would mean a bigger van.
I think the only other thing I might possibly change when we go back is at the moment all our cupboards are the red, so when I'm sleeping beside one side of it, it's the shiny red unit, which is fine in the summer, but sometimes when it's cold and you get condensation, it can be a bit cold and damp. So we're thinking of getting it carpeted in the same grey that you see around the van, just to make that a bit more warmer for the winter. Apart from that, say we talked about, we probably don't need the toilet as much as we thought we would, so that might go. One of the best things that we got though was the grill, and I couldn't stress that enough, how much we've used that.
Yep.
Absolutely loads. Especially
combined with the 2 burners, because if you think about it, with the 2 burners you could do, potatoes, vegetables, and grill some meat. So that's been fantastic.
Ridge Monkey and the grill are 2 things you shouldn't do without. Yep. They really are brilliant.
So before we finish this vlog today, just a special thanks to Shane at Bespoke NI. I'll put a link down below, who actually did the conversion for us. When we were first looking at a motorhome, I think again I'll link that video up here. We had no inclination of going for a VW. An afternoon spent with Shane quickly changed our minds. His attention to detail, him and his team's attention to detail on the van has been fantastic. One thing that was brilliant was we got the van kind of 90% done, took it away for a month, and then came back. There were a few sort of teething problems, but also there were a few things that sort of Nicola wanted put right or Nicola wanted changed, and he just was, completely accommodating from that perspective.
And I'm a difficult customer, and he was brilliant.
So definitely, if you're in Northern Ireland and you're thinking of a conversion, definitely check out Bespoke NI, because I cannot recommend them.
So helpful,
highly
so
enough,
professional.
And it was Shane, in fact, who also installed the solar panel for us as well. So fantastic job, and we're so grateful, because having the van has allowed us to sit here on Shetland in the sunshine talking to a camera. Right guys, well, we have just spent the last couple of hours down here. Lovely, peaceful. It was quite busy up at S&S Lighthouse. It is hopefully going to be quite a nice evening, but again, one of the brilliant things we're finding about having the van is when you arrive somewhere and it's busy, just pull yourself away, park up somewhere for a few hours. It's now 6 o'clock. So most of the tourists will have departed.
We're tourists.
No.
He keeps saying this as though we've actually moved to Shetland.
I haven't told her we have. Most of the tourists will have left, hopefully up there, and that will allow us then to get in there and sort of explore the area sort of by ourselves. Exactly that happened up at Hermanus. Really, really busy place where the gannets and the puffins are, and we were able to kind of just hold back, wait for the evening, and we had the whole place to ourselves. So thanks again for watching. We're off up to Eshiness Lighthouse, and we'll catch up again soon. And if you have any questions about the van at all, then let us know. See you later. Bye.
Bye.